Hello, Chicago! If you can hear me, say good schools for everybody! Say, we want good schools now! Sisters and brothers, members of the community, parents, the Mighty Action Now, the Mighty Kenwood Oakland Community Organization, members of the public and city of Chicago, welcome! It's so good to see everyone on this beautiful June day. So good. My name is SHARKEY. I'm the Vice President of the Chicago Teachers Union. And on behalf of the 30,000 PSRPs and teachers and counselors and clinicians that make the public schools in Chicago go every day, I'd like to welcome you to this beautiful rally. Welcome. We rallied today because we are making demands of the public schools and of City Hall. We are making demands for the kind of schools that our children deserve. We're making schools in which our demands for schools where the libraries have librarians. We're making demands for schools in which every school has a nurse on every day of the week. Not just alternate Wednesdays. We're making demands for schools where our counselors are allowed to counsel and where our teachers are allowed to teach. Not just administer standardized tests. And now, you know, not all those things cost money. But some of those things cost some money. And we will not stand for a school system in which our future is mortgaged, in which our classrooms are shortchanged, in which teachers cannot do their jobs, in which students don't have nurses, in which the schools are stripped of everything of value, where the halls are dirty, where the classrooms are uncleaned, all because Ken Griffin and Bruce Rauner and their billionaire friends don't want to pay their taxes. And so when the wealthiest in our city tell us that our schools are broke, we say our schools are broke on purpose. Because if you don't believe the city of Chicago has got wealth, look around you for a minute. Walk 2 blocks that way, or 2 blocks that way, or 2 blocks that way. Walk 2 blocks in any direction from where we stand now in the heart of the loop, and you will see untold wealth. You will see that billionaires are building glass towers to their own power, to the sky, where there are cranes building new buildings. And yet we are told we don't have the money for a nurse in every building. And we are not going to accept that. We are here to deliver the message to the public of this city that you will not sacrifice the public schools on the altars of their profit. Whose schools? Whose schools? Whose schools? Whose schools? That's right. Thank you, Sister Brothers. And I'll tell you one more thing. We have here in this rally today and around the community of Chicago, teachers and PSRPs and clinicians who gave their careers, the best working lives of the best years of their working lives, to educating children. Those people are now retired. And after caring for us for generations, we now have to care for them. And while we will not sacrifice our schools, neither will we sacrifice our retirees. Neither will we allow our pensions to be cut, our livelihoods to be slashed, and people who are at the end of their lives to be thrown in the scrap heap so that the wealthiest of this society don't have to pay their taxes. So we've got a treat for you guys today. We've got some great speakers. If the speakers are in the audience, let me ask if people here are around. Let me call out a couple of names. Have people here seen JITU Brown? JITU Brown, are you in the house? JITU Brown, if you see him, he's about 10 feet tall. Get him to come our way. We've got leaders of the Amalgamated Transit Union, ATU Local 241 and Local 308. If you're in the house, got a couple people, could you make your way towards the stage? If we got Janet Herrera from BPNC, the Brighton Park Neighborhood Council, if you could make your way. Alderwoman Sue SADLOWSKI GARZA, are you in the house? Proud CTU member, and 10th Ward Alderwoman, if you're in the house, make your way. It is good to see so many red shirts. I hope the people of the city of Chicago. I hope that the city of Chicago is used to seeing this sea of red. And I hope that when they see this sea of red, it reminds everyone in this city, not just of our power. I hope it reminds them of our power, but I also hope it reminds them of what we do every day. That this city would not work if it were not for the people who go to work in the schools. This city would not have accomplished the things that it accomplishes if it is not for the dedicated public servants who today are dressed in red, but every day are dressed in the uniforms of their schools, who go to school, who make this city work, who sacrifice themselves for the children of this city. And by the way, also for the bus drivers who get them to school, and for the custodians who clean up the messes in our schools, unless they're being laid off and privatized, but also for the nurses who open the hospital beds, who care for the sick, but also for every public servant who comes to work in the city of Chicago. That is something which we must remind ourselves of when we stand in solidarity, when we stand thousands strong. We are more powerful than the wealthiest bankers. Tonight, we are here to remind the city that we ask for just contract, that we ask for just conditions in our schools, and that we ask for revenue to keep our public services operating, that we ask for fair taxation. Let the people in this city with the most wealth pay their fair share. Let them pay their fair share. Now, I need to ask, I believe that we've got a speaker here from a community organization. I'm going to find out who it is. Put your hands together. Put your hands together for an important ally of ours and yours. Proud spokesperson from Action Now, the mighty Action Now in the house. I'm here for Action Now. Show these brothers this is some love. Gloria Warner is going to speak to you a little bit about the way she sees it. Gloria, knock 'em dead. All right.
Yeah,
Right on.
yeah. Hey, Chicago! My name is Gloria Warner. I'm the president of Action Now. I'm also a retired school teacher. And we need a sustainable community schools. Community schools, not just one community, but all the communities. And in order to do this, we need a fair budget to be passed. We need a librarian in every school. We need books. We need money. We need the money back that LaSalle Street took. Yeah. They need to give our money back. Give our money back. Give our money back. Give our money back. Right. All right. The children of Chicago deserves better. And the mayor and the governor know that they can do better, and it's time for them to do something. Thank you.
Let me hear for Gloria Warner in Action Now. Now put your hands together. You guys look beautiful. It's been a long school year. And it's going to keep going for a couple more weeks. And unfortunately, out there in the schools right now, our principals and our teachers do not yet have a school budget. run a school without knowing what your budget is? How is it that teachers are asked to make decisions about what they're doing next year when in the suburbs they've already known what they're doing next year for 2 months? It's not acceptable to run a school system this way. It's not acceptable to treat students this way. And it is not acceptable to treat us this way. And we're not going to stand for it. One of the things that has been very important for us is that we have consistently had allies in the fight for fairness in our schools. And tonight we are very happy to be joined by allies from the Amalgamated Transit Union. They drive our buses. They drive our trains. Tonight we're joined by members of ATU Local 241, the bus drivers. Put your hands together for Tommy Sams. Put your hands together for Tommy Sams, president of ATU Local 241, the bus drivers union. Put your hands, solidarity.
How you doing? All right. This is what we need. How you doing? Oh, this is really, really nice. I mean, this is outstanding. Listen, transit has been quiet for a long time. But thanks to the organizing of the teachers, we're out here in support of you, because guess what? This is about working families. Public transit and public schools. Taking it to the streets. So just to let you all know, this is just the first of many. We're there when you need us. We need the powers to be to realize that public schools are a necessity. Not to be moved around, not to be closed, and the teachers aren't to be disrespected. So on that note, myself, all my colleagues, we're here in support. We'll be here till you're done. But let's hear it, teachers. Working families, working together. Working families, working together. Thank you.
Put it together for the public transportation drivers. I want you to say the word solidarity, but I want you to say it, hold on. I want you to say it so loud that they can hear it on the 5th floor of City Hall. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to say solidarity. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Solidarity! Louder. 1, 2, 3. Solidarity! All right, that's what I'm talking about. We in the Chicago Teachers Union have been very blessed to have a number of allies. We've always said this is not a fight for teachers alone. This is not a fight just for those of us who work in the schools. This is a fight for everybody who believes in public schools and the challenges that they face and the promises that they offer and hold out for us. This is a fight for everybody in our society who depends on the public good. This is a fight for parents and folks in the community. And let's be honest, sisters and brothers, they've endured a lot. They've endured their schools closing. They have endured insults. They have endured their communities as they have faced wave after wave of violence. And the investments in our communities have not been made, and that's what we need. And so we are here to fight on behalf of everybody and speak on behalf of the voiceless and stand side by side with those who raise their voice in solidarity, and that's the direction that we are going to take this fight. We have Is Janeth Herrera from BPNC here? Janeth Herrera. We have, we're gonna keep going. We are very proud to have taken our fight to the streets and frankly to the ballot box, where we fought in a number of places across the city. Tonight we are joined by a proud member of the CTU, who's been a real champion of this union and will continue to be a champion in City Hall. I'm talking about, of course, the incomparable, the inconquerable, the indomitable Susan SADLOWSKI GARZA. Put your hands together. Let's hear it for Sue Garza, one of our own, native daughter. Knock 'em dead.
CTU? CT who? Nothing like a sea of red. I am here today to stand in solidarity with the dedicated educators and support staff in Chicago Public Schools. Today, I stand before you as the 10th Ward Alderman and former CTU Area Vice President. But today, I speak to you as a mother of 4 children that went to school at Chicago Public Schools. Quality education is a cornerstone of our democracy. Any attack on public education is a threat to our democracy. We must protect public education and ensure that working families have an accountable, transparent, and quality public education system. We cannot stand by idle as career politicians continue to make poor decisions affecting our society's most precious resource, our children. It is disgraceful. It's disgraceful to watch elected officials bail out big banks that are considered too big to fail. And the same politicians use taxpayers' money to bail out investment firms. We must consider our public education system too valuable to fail. I am committed to work with all elected officials and interested parties to explore all possible solutions to the issues that we face. As a city, we must continue to educate and organize for a fair treatment and compensation of our educators. Today, the woman that I'm here to introduce has always put the needs of students and working families of Chicago at the forefront of her decisions. Today, I have the distinct honor of introducing a champion of public education and a voice for working class families all over Chicago, my dear friend and mentor, Miss Karen Lewis.
Okay, you guys. Thank you. Thank you. You guys, I have a limited amount of energy, and you're going to use it all up.
about what's really happening. We have people who are trying to set the working class at odds with poor people. That's what we have set up for us right now. Working class people don't want to pay any more property taxes. They don't want to pay any more taxes. That makes sense. We understand that. Poor people are trying to get help. We understand that. But we have a governor who thought it was okay to cut funding to autism on World Autism Day. So clearly priorities aren't shifted in the right direction. So here's what I'm asking you. Who are the one set of people that could solve this problem by doing one thing? Paying their fair share. Do you realize that developers figure out their budgets by how much TIF money, before they even present, they have figured out how much TIF money they're going to get. So we aren't asking the right people the right questions. There's a person that lives in this town who could solve all of the pension fund crisis, not by reaching into his checkbook and taking food out of his children's mouths, but just by paying his fair share of taxes. So people keep saying, why do you always talk about taxing the rich? Because when America was at its strongest, number one, 37% union density. What do we have now? Who knows? I think it's 7%. And what is this governor trying to do? Get rid of unions. When Americans, my best friend just lost her father over the weekend. He had a high school diploma and he was able to go to work at Reynolds aluminum plant. That man was able to put his 3 daughters through school, whoever else wanted to go. He was able to buy a house and have a family. Try that with a high school diploma now, because those jobs are gone. And again, in the 50s, when we had the most prosperity, when we had a middle class, what are these people trying to do? They keep saying they want to go back in time to when minorities were quiet and women stayed at home, and right? They want to go back to that time, but they don't want to go back to the time where the unions were the most dense. They just want to pick and choose. But that's not how it is. So you have to remember that what you're fighting for is not just a fair contract. It is the history of fair contracts. And if we have a chance, this is it. This is the time where you have to stand up and tell them all, no, we're not going to take that. This is what is more reasonable. And once again, remember, we have tried to provide solutions for them on so many different levels. But the one thing they don't want to hear, the tough choices that people don't want to make, is going where the money is. But constantly frightening us, telling us, We're in so much deep trouble. Everybody's leaving Illinois. And if you believe that, I got a bean to sell you. So people go across the state line to Indiana to buy cigarettes. Okay? And, well, but I will tell you this. Sisters and brothers, the sea of red means something. Not just in Chicago, not just nationwide, but worldwide. So thank you for coming out.
Y'all ready to march? I can't hear you. Are y'all ready to march? All right, let me tell you the way this is going to work. We're going to march now. We're going to let City Hall feel our marching feet. You're going to follow the instructions of the marshals. You'll know them because they'll be wearing orange vests. Please listen to the marshals. There are a few banners that need to make their way to the front. We're going to be marching out of the plaza behind us, going to LaSalle Street, marching down LaSalle Street. Please follow the lead of the marshals. Can I see a marshal? We ready? JITU Brown is here. JITU Brown. You made it. Okay. We got a couple last people that we're going to hear from before we march, but I want to make sure the banners are going into position. I want to, with great amount of pride, welcome the incomparable, the indomitable, the incomparable, the juggernaut, JITU Brown. Let's hear it, JITU.
How you feel, Chicago? How you doing, Chicago? I'm here with the Kenwood Oakland Community Organization, and we want to say that we stand in firm solidarity with the Chicago Teachers Union. Any union, any brothers and sisters in labor that will make as part of their contract demands an end to charter school expansion, any union that will make as part of their contract demands 50 sustainable community schools in the city of Chicago, a restorative justice coordinator in every school, early childhood education for every child, along with smaller class sizes. We're with you. But I want to share something with you. While the mayor of this city promised you all on television over and over that he was going to start to listen, y'all remember that? He said, I hear you. Well, we're going to make sure that he hears us, right? Because I don't want to live in a Chicago where the mayor of this city can send his children to a school where they say there cannot be more than 23 children in one class, where they say that standardized tests is not our main option for evaluating students, but then tell you that that your children don't deserve the same thing. I don't want to live in a Chicago where families are destabilized and communities are turned upside down, and when thousands of people hit the streets, the mayor of this city says there's noise associated with change. So today, brothers and sisters, can we commit? No, can we commit that this is not just about what's going to happen over the next 6 months? This is about us coming together in communities around the city of Chicago saying we want a different type of Chicago. We want a Chicago that embraces our children, not criminalizes our children. We want a Chicago that builds the middle class, not kills the middle class. We want a Chicago where our voices are heard and not ignored. Are we together on this? Are we together on this? For the last 25 years of my life, I've done the best that I can to be consistent to that mission. And I want to bring up somebody right now who's got even more time in the game than I got. And when this man ran for mayor, all they could say, what? So I'm going to bring to the mic one of the more principled men that I've ever met. One of the strongest men that I've ever met. And whether he knows it or not, I think he does, the next mayor of this city. Jesus, CHUY, GARCIA.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Look, I know it's getting hot in the crowd and people are turning redder. But I gotta tell you, it's great to be in a sea of red this afternoon. Yeah. And I want to be real brief with you this afternoon because I understand people want to march. And people want to express what's on their mind. I'm here with you today because I believe in public education. I am here with you today because I recognize that we cannot have a robust and sustainable system of public education in Illinois or in Chicago if there isn't sustainable funding to make that a reality. And I'm here today because I understand clearly that unless we have a system of solid neighborhood schools everywhere in the city of Chicago, we cannot have safe neighborhoods in the city of Chicago. So as we enter this next cycle of the crisis around public education and everything that is public in terms of public institutions in Illinois and in Chicago, it is more critical now than ever before that we find the revenue solutions to the crisis that we're facing in public education, in health and human services, in how we treat the most vulnerable populations of our state and in the city of Chicago. And in order to reach a reasonable and sustainable accord as it relates to public education, it is critical that the voices of teachers and parents and students be heard and be at the negotiating table. So I understand the discontent and the rage that you've expressed when the Chicago Public Schools tried to impose a salary cut on the hard-earned benefits that teachers have enjoyed thus far. And in order for us to move forward as one and to achieve a system that guarantees education and quality education for all, teachers' voices must be at the table. There must be equitable bargaining, and we've got to put all of the cards on the table. But especially the question of revenues and everyone paying a fair share is what will be required in order to have a sustainable funding situation in Illinois that will ensure that the Chicago public school system stays sustainable for all of our children. Thank you so much, brothers and sisters.
Now we march. We are going to file out of the back of this plaza. Sisters and brothers, be patient. There's going to be enough streets for us all to take over together. We're going to have more than a minute or two more of this. So, no pushing, marching out to LaSalle Street to the back of the plaza. Marshals, let's take the streets. Whose streets?